Hello again and welcome to the Franchise Everything podcast, and we're coming here today from the Coochie Hydrogreen office in Chile, Canberra, and I'm joined today by Ash Gulwell, who's a franchise owner from up in Gladstone. G'day Ash, how you going mate?
Yeah, good, yourself?
Excellent mate, thank you for joining us today.
Good to be here.
Good, thank you. You're a cold Queenslander just like I am right now.
Yeah.
How have you found it down here?
Chilly.
Yeah?
Very chilly this morning, yeah.
Yeah, do you get down here very often?
Never been here before, so.
Never before, not even for training or anything like that?
No.
No? Okay, so you're in the Coochie Hydrogreen business, so there'd be a bunch of people who wouldn't have any idea what that is. So what do you do at Coochie Hydrogreen? What services are on offer?
So basically what we do is liquid application of fertilisers, nutrition, basically your lawn technical sort of stuff that, people find very hard to do. So, we treat for weeds, insects, all that sort of stuff.
So you help people. So there's obviously that, because I've done a little bit with Coochie over the time. There's the DIY market, do-it-yourself stuff, and then you guys really come in on the end there and do a full service type offer, don't you?
That's right, yeah. What we do is we come in, a lot of people find it very hard. There's a lot to learn, a lot to know about lawn care. So we come in and make sure that it's done right, fix up any mistakes they've made, and basically give them the complete professional care to make their lawn as good as it possibly can be.
Excellent. It sounds complex. Is it complex or is it straightforward, or is it?
There is a lot to learn. There is a lot to learn. So yeah, there is a fair bit to it.
So this what we're talking about here in this podcast is about you and your journey. So this is a real franchise owner journey type discussion. So I know we have a little bit of a brief chat off camera, and we've actually done an article on you, which I have proofread. So I know I know a little bit about you, obviously, but not a lot. Yeah. In that a 600-word article can get across. But so I know that you weren't from Gladstone originally. So what's your story? How did you start? Where did you start in business and everything? So where does it go back to?
So originally, as a young fella, wanting to earn a few dollars, got a job in a local butcher shop.
That was from while you were at school?
Yeah, while I was at school, so I was 14 then. And every afternoon I'd get down there and wash up and learn and eventually worked into an apprenticeship and left school. And
I've got a 14-year-old now, and I can't think of my 14-year-old wielding knives and all that sort of stuff in a butcher shop. What was that like?
It was good, obviously we weren't running around hacking things, it was a lot of washing up and learning before we were ever allowed to touch the knives. But yeah, there was a lot of cuts there along the way.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. And what were your memories of that as a 14-year-old? I mean, you must have enjoyed it, doing an apprenticeship straight after it and everything. What were your memories of it going back that early?
It was very hard, I won't lie. It wasn't an easy job. And back then when I started, it was a hard trade. It wasn't, you couldn't be soft and get through it.
I don't think you can be now, can you, there?
So yeah, it was a good journey. It was a long journey, cold journey, in and out of the cool rooms.
I can imagine they've got to be pretty chilled, don't they? I know I spent a bunch of time at Leonard's Chicken. I remember those back area rooms there. Everyone's wearing their jumpers and everything. They're very chilly.
Yeah. No, it was good.
Excellent. So, so from there, so how long were you there? How was the flow through that there? So you were at school and you started off obviously working part time. How many days a week were you doing when you were a 14-year-old and through while you were at school?
5 days. So every afternoon.
That's a lot.
So I started at 3 o'clock. So I'd run down from after school would finish. I'd run down to the shop and start washing up and be there till about 5:30, 6 o'clock every afternoon, and then every Saturday morning from 6 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So
wow, that's a lot of hours for a 14-year-old.
It is, yeah, but it's worth it. Wanted to earn some money and move forward in life. So
excellent. So what was the process in there? So you moved on. When did you start kicking into the apprenticeship? Was that while you were still at school, or did you leave school for the apprenticeship?
I left school at the end of year 11, so I went all the way through. I was basically just waiting on time for the previous apprentice to finish, and then I could start. So
and jump into that position.
Jumped into that position and continued that and did it for 15 years, obviously moving around in different shops, managing shops and that sort of stuff. But 15 years I did that for. So
well, so there's a bit of retail experience essentially.
A lot of retail
shops.
Yeah.
And how did you enjoy that?
It was good. There was a lot of rewards in it, as in, customer satisfaction, which is what I like. I get excitement from the customer being happy. So, I learnt that, and you get that in a butcher shop. So, yeah.
So, okay, so 15 years, right? So 15 years as a butcher, because you're doing something totally different now. I thought we'd just touch on that little bit there about your background.
Yeah.
So you've done 15 years, you decide, I don't want to do this anymore. What was the next step from 15 years? And And I remember we didn't say at the start, that was in Port Macquarie. So you were in
was.
Port Macquarie, and
Yep.
we had relatives in Port Macquarie as well. As you said, everyone knows someone who's in Port Macquarie.
That's correct, yeah.
What was the jump from Port Macquarie up to Gladstone? How did you get there?
So it was actually one of my apprentices that I had on. He'd moved up there and got a job in the refineries. And he said to me, "Oh, Ash, you need to get up here. You know, this is great." And I went up for a holiday and visited him. And I ended up 3 months later, I had myself a job in the refineries as a hydroblaster.
So we talked about this off air, and I think many people have no idea what goes on in these massive organisations there in mining and refinery. I think obviously refineries are different to mining. So
Yep.
can you just quickly explain the role, your sort of space, what you were doing in that space compared to that, say, mining into where you were at the refinery and out again?
Yeah, so with the refinery, they get bauxite, they turn it into alumina, then the alumina goes to the smelters and that gets turned into aluminium.
Yep.
So what our role was, because of the high caustic content and, in the process of making, transforming the bauxite into alumina, the pipes get all corroded and, they scale up basically. So, it was our job to come in and clean them with ultra-high pressure water. So
It must be pretty satisfying spraying everything, cleaning everything off.
Oh, it's like a huge big water pistol, basically.
I bet.
So it's all different ways of putting it in there, bombs and guns and different things. So, it was quite good things to learn, it was a great experience.
So, and how long did you do that for?
Roughly 8 years in total while I was there. So.
Yeah, and the progression through that business. So what did you do there? And you were saying it was with Rio Tinto?
Yep. So 2 different companies working for Rio Tinto.
Yep.
That I did over the time. So initially I was on the tools when I first started, and then slowly worked my way up through the ranks into a supervisor role, and a team of about 30 guys underneath me. So.
Wow. It's quite a difference. And then, so we're not going to dwell too much on that. So we're going to talk about what you're doing now more than anything. But I wanted to really give a bit of a background there, because I think everyone's got an interesting story. So all these people, small business owners, particularly in franchising now, have come into have got so much diverse experience and everything, and people wouldn't have a clue what people have done in their past.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing all that. Okay, so you're Gladstone, you're 8 years. You're at the point now you're supervising a team of around 30 people in hydroblasting, and you're looking for a change. So what was your thought process and everything when you're at that point in your life?
So I just wanted something. I wanted to get back to that personal satisfaction, which you don't get in the huge, big companies like that. So I just wanted to find something that I could get that satisfaction back from. And when I come across Coochie Hydrogreen, it looked like that's what I'd get out of it. And talking with everyone and whatnot.
So what was did you decide while you're there, when you were in doing the hydroblasting, say, right, I want my own small business?
Yes.
So you want to jump that? So, and what was your criteria? What was your thinking? Well, because you obviously wouldn't just go, I'm going to do Coochie. So what was your criteria broadly when you were looking around?
It was basically I just wanted to find something where I was going to be happy with, a little bit, that work-life balance. I didn't want to be doing night shifts all the time like I was doing in the
You've previously done those?
Yeah. So I just wanted to find something with more work-life balance, something family-friendly, that I could grow and it could be mine. So
yeah. And what about the actual doing and the work? Was there anything particular of a criteria you had for that? Was it more a services type thing, or you certainly didn't want food or anything like that? What was
there wasn't anything there in particular that I had in mind. I was open-minded about what I wanted to do. It just needed to be something that I could grow and become mine.
Yep.
And that's what I found.
So how did you find Coochie Hydrogreen? What was that all about?
It was actually through a broker. It just popped up in, he'd send me different franchises and different businesses and whatnot. And I found that. And
the rest is history.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you mentioned a broker there, because it is interesting the role that people can play in helping people select a business, because, I mean, a good broker will help you find the right business for you rather than just trying to sell you a business.
Yeah.
Because, they're interested in a good broker I'm talking about. They're interested in you doing well, and then potentially that business doing so well, they can transact it again in 3, 4, 5 years' time and keep a really tight thing. So what was your interaction from a brokerage perspective like? So did you give them a list of things you were looking for, or did they just really get to know you? How did it work, and did they think you'd be interested in something like this?
It wasn't too much personal correspondence with the broker.
Yep.
He would just basically send out a list of jobs, a list of different businesses
for sale.
And I'd just go through it and have a look at it, and then I made contact directly and that was it.
And what did you find out? What jumped out at you when you made contact initially?
Well, initially it all sounded a little too good to be true, with the business model and everything like that.
Why do you say that? What was too good to be true that you saw?
It just sounded too good.
Yep.
Like the hours that we work, what we do, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a fair point though, because there's no doubt, and this isn't Coochie specific, but there's no doubt there's every brand a franchise puts on its absolute best right on its front with all its information forward, and you suppose it's going to be hard to pick through that information.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is. But yeah, I made the phone call, had a chat with the lady that answered the phone, ended up being Anya.
Yep,
So
Anya, the CEO. Yeah.
And I didn't know that at the time. I just thought it was, someone that was a broker for Coochie. And we had a great chat, and it was relaxed. There was no push. There was no nothing. It was just great chat. She told us about what we did and everything like that.
Yeah, I've heard in the article we read, I remember that story about you picking up the phone and calling Coochie Hydrogreen head office to ask about a franchise, and you didn't know the CEO was the person who answered the phone.
No.
I kid you not, yesterday when we came in and we were setting up for this filming here in the office there, Anya was on the phone for like an hour talking to someone, and it reminded me exactly the type of conversation that you were having, giving information and everything like that, just real transparency and authenticity, which is really important.
Yeah.
So what were the steps from there? So you had that first interaction, which you thought was good. So did you call other franchise owners, or how did you do more investigation into the business?
I did. I called Mick in Yeppoon, which is he's only about an hour away from me, and I had a chat with him, and basically everything that I spoke on the phone with Anya about was exactly the same as what he was telling me. So that was a big part in the play of me moving forward with the purchase of the franchise.
And what did you like about it? What do you recall really stuck out? I know you said lifestyle, but were there particular things about the work and everything that appealed? Or?
It just sounded really interesting. Like I always had a nice lawn myself and tried to do, the best I could with it. But, just learning all that new things, which was great. And yeah.
Okay, so training. So you progressed in it. So what was the process of progressing from there? So you decided, I want to do this. How long did it take you to get a deal done and get into a business?
So it took me, I think it was about 2 months. So once I decided to finish up where I was, it was a pretty quick process, really. I did put the pressure on a little bit to get into it.
To exit faster? Yeah.
So, and they made it happen for me.
Because you were keen, obviously, once you make the decision,
it took me a little while to make the decision, but once I made the decision, it was full hogs ahead. So,
did you have any fears and everything at the time? Like whether was there something? Yeah. What was playing in your mind? What was keeping you up at night?
I put everything into it, and I was just worried of whether it was going to work in my area. But yeah, it all.
Yeah.
It was a scary transition.
Yep.
Obviously, any person that buys a business first up without owning one before, it's a scary thing to do. But it's definitely been a good job.
And what did you find was the hardest thing for you, like in jumping into your own business? In your memory? I know it's 3 years ago now, isn't it? You've been here 3 years. What was the hardest thing for you to get your head around?
Just the technical side of it, because there is so much to learn. With the technical side of things, and just making sure the right products are applied, to the right lawns. Learning what grass is what and what it can handle, and what it can't. So
and what's training like around that?
Yeah, it's good. At the time, we had one of the trainers. He was quite good, and he ran you through it, and he always had the support on the phone if you're unsure. He'd tell you what you needed to know. So.
So what does a normal day look like for you now? What do you get up to?
Okay, so at the moment I've got my first employee, so he's been with me for about 8 months. So first up in the morning, I get to the office, the warehouse, get him up and running. So make sure he's got his jobs for the day. He takes one truck out, and I've got a second truck there that I run. So I do all the new starts, all the quotes, and then all the overflow.
And you flow it to him.
Yeah.
Is that normal? Is many other? Is that a normal thing to have inside your period to have an extra truck on the road and everything like that? Is that what do many of the other Coochie businesses look like that you're aware of?
Probably not as quickly as what I've grown through the ranks, but definitely a lot of the guys have got second trucks and third trucks and whatnot. But I have only been in the business for under 3 years, so it is moving quite quickly for me.
So what do you put that success down to? So what do you think has been the key for you in achieving, with inside 3 years, already adding on a second truck and a second person?
I think a lot of it's down to hard work. You get out of any small business what you put into it. So you put a lot into it, you get a lot out of it. So I have put a lot into it over these 3 years of building, and now it's sort of in that position where it's starting to flow quite smoothly, and I can start to back right off.
So when you say hard work, what does that look like? So what do you so is that in marketing, or you're doing more quotes, or how does that manifest?
Well, marketing is a huge part of what we do. We obviously got to draw awareness to the brand. Where I started, in Gladstone, there's not too much in the way of knowledge of what we actually did. So a lot for my first sort of thing that I really took on board was, brand awareness, getting everyone to know what Coochie is, what we do, how we do it, and showing them what we can do.
I saw when we were setting up in here again this morning, you were showing people some of the marketing stuff you're doing. What are some of those marketing activities you've been doing?
Okay, so I've got everything from, like your normal Facebook, Instagram, that sort of stuff.
For your regional, local area?
Yeah, stubby coolers, bar mats in local pubs, local netball teams, sponsor those, soccer team, different things like that. So just, I could go on for a long time. I've got vehicles, promotional vehicles, all that sort of stuff. So
excellent. So when people call in, do you take calls from new potential customers?
Yep.
What do they ask you? Like, what are their wants or desires? What sort of things do they say to you about their lawns?
A lot of people, they're not too sure on what they actually, or what we do exactly.
I was wondering that.
So it's a lot of, you clarify what we do, organise a site visit so that we can have a look at their lawn, because generally, they might say there's a problem and it's a completely different problem. So that's where we get to the job, get to site and have a look at it and make sure, it's something we can fix, and give them advice on different things that they might need to do as well. So,
and what sort of process is it? So what sort of programs and everything do you have? So I know it's a subscription-based thing, isn't it? So how does it work?
So basically, depends on the lawn, but basically it's a treatment within 2 treatments within 1 month, and then it's every 2 months after that. Is generally what your lawn needs to keep improving and moving forward.
And that's through an entire calendar year.
That's right. So basically six visits a year, and it just we keep the weeds out, keep the pests out, all that.
So without giving away any trade secrets, what are you actually doing to the lawns while you're doing it? So we've taken footage of you guys before. You're spraying all sorts of stuff. So what are you spraying? What are you doing?
So there's fertilisers in there, nutrition, wetting agents, soil conditioners, pH balancers, herbicides, and insecticides. So basically, big thing for us is improving the soil quality. So building that profile up so the grass is healthy. You want a healthy lawn. Healthy lawn will help repel insects and any disease and anything like that. So it's just lawn health, basically.
Excellent. So, are you, given where you've been going in the business, and I know Coochie Hydrogreen, obviously people who are interested in this business can contact you and that sort of stuff. You're getting many calls from people interested, just like you, who are talking to other franchisees.
Definitely, I get a lot of them.
What do those conversations go like?
They're good. Like, it's always good to have a chat with someone, and
it's interesting for me because you're at that spot within a pretty quick time frame.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in your thoughts on what you tell people, and do you think when you hear them talking, do you go, oh God, I used to think that, or whatever? So what sort of plays through your mind?
I actually enjoy having a chat with them. You can clarify any of their their thoughts and let them sort of know what we do without giving away all our secrets. But it's good to be able to be a part of that process and a part of someone else's journey, which is what I enjoy, and then getting to meet them later on once they have purchased the business, and it's good.
Excellent. And what do you think does the future look like? So you've added on a second truck.
Yep.
What's the future look like in Gladstone for you? What's the growth there?
It's looking quite good. We're already starting to really kick off now. It's only the first of the month now, September, so already starting to really step up and get quite busy. So it's looking quite good. I've done the fundamentals. I've got done a lot of building, so now I can fill all those spots up and should be quite good. Be quite busy.
Excellent, mate. Well, on that note, I think we've covered a great little story of yours, mate. Well done on your success, Ash. Well
Thank
done
you
on your
very
success, mate. 3 years. I understand from the team here, 3 years, and you're adding on the way you're going is great rate of growth. So congratulations, mate. And thank you so much for joining us on the Franchise Everything podcast, mate. Much appreciated.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed the Franchise Everything podcast. And if you like these types of stories and the things we're doing, please make sure you like, subscribe, review, comment, do all that sort of stuff, and we'll get back in touch with you. Tell us the things you like or you don't like and that you'd like to hear more of going forward into the future, and we'll hope we can deliver those for you. Till we meet again soon.